PS Plus has gifted us another round of games to add to your never-ending, voracious backlog, and I felt like I needed to play this particular title now that I have no excuse. Little Nightmares and its sequel are one of those games that many have talked about and have just found ways to elude it all this time. I've heard it's unsettling, I've heard it's got some grotesque baddies, and I've heard if you like Limbo and Inside, this is right up your alley. I'm familiar with the devs, Tarsier Studios, for making some great Little Big Planet DLCs, so why did I avert this game for so long? Well, sometimes all you need is a spark to ignite the flame. PS Plus is often that spark, so we're not only going to cover this game, but also Little Nightmares 2 later in October for Halloween. Even though this game mysteriously doesn't have a platinum trophy, that doesn't mean it's not worth going for all the trophies. And there is one trophy in this trophy run I've heard many people talk about, and it has my complete attention. So all that's left to do is finally take the plunge into this very eerie, very disturbing, and very nerve-wracking game and see if we can collect all the trophies, especially that particular one. This is Platinum Hunters New Game Plus, the show where we take a look at DLCs, add-on trophy sets, and games without platinum trophies. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Definitely subscribe to the channel for more and be on the lookout for that Little Nightmares 2 video. I'll have a card just above this video if it's out. But I hope you guys enjoy and you might just find your next platinum trophy. For this trophy guide video, we are going to be taking a look at the trophies for not only the base game, but all 3 DLC trophy sets that complete the Secrets of the Maw storyline. I'm not going to make a New Game Plus episode for a New Game Plus episode and create this weird Platinum Hunterception. There is enough weird shit going on already, like this game, which really had me on the edge with its absolute creepiness. There was always something around each corner, whether it was in my head or actually on the screen. I found the DLC chapters pretty straightforward when clearing their trophies, but the base game is a different story. So let's just get right into it and you will see exactly what I mean. The trophy run will take you across 5 fear-inducing and crap-producing chapters where you will collect these 5 unmissable story trophies on screen right now. I feel comfortable sharing the names of these trophies as they just refer to places you go in this weird boat. If you look at the trophy descriptions, you will find that everything is a cryptic riddle when it comes to describing what to do to get the trophy. So it's a good thing you have someone making a guide for you to collect these trophies much easier, eh? Wink wink. This game may be called Little Nightmares, but there's nothing little about the denizens on this ship. Let's call them what they are. They are monsters. Grotesque nightmare fuel that you definitely want to avoid. There are going to be moments where you'll have to run away from these monsters, and you'll get the Elusive Trophy after a few close calls where you evade being captured. The way the trophy works is that if the monster reaches out and misses you, it will count as a close call. And while the trophy description is no help being all cryptic and shit, it will take about 5 or so close calls for the trophy to pop. This is definitely a trophy you'll get naturally as you play through the game, running away for your life. You have a bunch of close calls and then the trophy will pop. Next, let's take a look at collectibles, and there are plenty of odd ones to collect in this game. We got the trophy, Light Up Your Life, on deck first, and you'll have to find and light up these lanterns scattered all over the ship. Again, the description is very cryptic and pretty much doesn't tell you anything, to be honest. But you will need to light up 20 of these. Now, good thing there are more than 20 of these things on the ship, which is good for grabbing this trophy. And it's not just unlit lanterns that count towards the trophy. You can also light up candles too. So when you find one, pull out your lighter and light it up. Once you have found 20 of them, the trophy will pop. I have a great guide that will help you find 20 of these in the description below, as well as help you find our next 2 collectibles. Also note that if you miss any of these, you can just use chapter select to easily go back and find those missing collectibles. Next trophy is called Rascal, and it will be yours once you find and break 10 of these weird black statues. Like the lanterns, these are scattered in a bunch of random places on the ship, and when you find one, pick it up and give it a toss. Use the guide I've provided to help you locate them. Last collectible trophy is called Little Lost Things, and you need to find and give a hug to all of these weird little pyramid head looking creatures called gnomes. Just like the last 2 collectibles, they are hidden in the environment, but this time you will need to put in a bit more work to find them. Many of them will be hiding in nooks and crannies, and when you find them, they'll scurry off to another location. Once they have settled, you can finally give the gnome a hug and add it to your count. There are a total of 13, with the very last one appearing as part of the story in chapter 4. And what a fucked moment that was. Holy shit. That's all I have to say. Find them all and get the trophy. There are 3 chapter specific trophies where you will have to do a certain task to unlock the trophy, and it's hidden in the environment. Our first one is found at the very beginning of the game in chapter 1, and it's called Highly Sprung. There is a bed that will help you crawl through a hole in the wall to get to the next room. Instead, keep hopping on the bed until the trophy pops. It's a very easy trophy, but also very easy to miss. It's literally 30 seconds into the game, and you have gone too far if you have passed a room where a guy... Yikes. I can't describe this without getting demonetized. You'll know it. There's a chair in the room, and it's pretty gruesome, but if you've gone to that room, it's right before it. Then our next trophy is in chapter 2, and along the linear path you need to go. The trophy is Six's Song, and as you're climbing up to your destination, you will have to platform across a piano to get to the other side. But before you leap off of it, get your Elton John on and walk across the keys till the trophy prompt appears. Another trophy down. This next one is a little more involved, and you're going to have to pucker a bit while you're getting it. It's in chapter 3 and it's called The Kitchen Hand. You will come across a big kitchen area where you have to sneak across to avoid this grotesque, rotund Chef Boyardee. I swear, I cannot stand this bitch. Anyways, to get the trophy, you will have to make a soup by throwing 3 ingredients into this pot right here in the middle of the kitchen. You'll need a carrot, a fish head, and some cheese. Weird combination, but I ain't eating it, so sure. The carrot is in the room on the left side of the kitchen, the fish head is underneath the table right in front of the pot, and the cheese is on the right side of the pot beside some crates. Be careful when you are throwing the ingredients in the pot because you're going to need to get pretty close and toss it by holding the X button. It's easy to miss, and it's also easy for Chef Hamzy over here to spot you. Then you gotta go hide somewhere. He's going to be moving back and forth all over the kitchen doing various things, and if he catches you, you'll have to start from scratch and throw all 3 ingredients in there again. Use the cover provided and wait till he moves away from the pot area before you make your moves. Once you stew up all 3 of those ingredients, the trophy will be yours. And for our last trophy of the base game, this is where things get much tougher and basically where the overall trophy difficulty comes from. This is the trophy that everybody's been talking about. It's called Hard to the Core. And not only will you need to beat the whole game in under 1 hour, but you will have to do it without dying. Yep, a no-death speedrun. In the past, when we've talked about speedruns for games like Uncharted 4 and Stray, yeah, the speedruns were nerve-wracking, but there was a pretty good buffer for you to make mistakes and still finish the run ahead of schedule. Here, that buffer is pretty small, and that makes sense because it's less than an hour long. You'll have a 3-minute to 5 minute buffer at most to make some mistakes like missing a jump or going in the wrong room or other mistakes along those lines. But with the no death stipulation added, it really makes this run much more difficult. As much as I love the game with its creepy atmospheric storytelling, the actual platforming is not really that great. Sometimes it can be your enemy when you're trying to do more precise jumps, and depth perception in particular is a sticking point for me. When you are being chased, you don't have time to readjust and make sure you are properly facing the obstacle you have to jump over or slide under. A lot of my time was spent memorizing certain sections just so that I would make sure I didn't die to them. In particular, chapters 2 and 3 were kinda grueling thanks to this blind handsy janitor and our friend the chef. I think after you pass chapter 3, the speedrun gets easier, and chapter 5 is a very short, easy chapter even with the boss fight. To prepare for the long hour, I watched a world record speedrun to see how this person was able to beat the game in less than 35 minutes. I have the video linked down below. Realistically, you won't be using all of this person's techs as some of them are incredibly hard to pull off, but there are really nice ones that you can use. There's a fantastic elevator skip in chapter 4 that saved me a crap ton of time, and it's so simple. So once you get used to the finicky platforming and level layout, 1 hour is doable time-wise. But the no death part of the deal is what's going to make this trophy beyond challenging to get, and there will be some frustration if you die late into the run because you made a mistake. Thankfully, it is only an hour long, so you can take a deep breath and unclench your butt cheeks when you finally beat it after a ton of failed runs. Good luck to anyone daring enough to try and get this trophy, and Godspeed. That's everything you'll need for the Little Nightmares base trophy set, but don't leave yet. We still have the 3 DLC trophy sets to cover, so you can collect the full 100% trophy completion for Little Nightmares. These 3 DLCs are part of a full story called The Secrets of the Maw, and we play another character that's been lurking in the background watching our main girl with the yellow raincoat try and escape this horrible place. Let's get started with the Depths DLC, and if you made it this far, drop a like on the video to let me know you haven't been scared off yet. Before we deep dive into the Depths DLC, there is some helpful info you should know that applies to all 3 of these DLC trophy sets. Each trophy set follows the same pattern with 3 trophies, 1 for completing the chapter, 1 for collecting 5 collectibles in the level, and 1 trophy that's an environment puzzle similar to jumping on the bed or playing the piano. For the Flotsam bottle collectibles, I have guides down below to help you find them, and a few of them were kinda tricky, so you might need to rely on the guides. You can play all 3 of these chapters back to back if you like, and you can complete all the trophies in one playthrough, but chapter select is available for anything you missed. Okay, let's get started on this new story with our new character. The So Close trophy is awarded to you for completing the Depths DLC, which is the shortest and most linear of the 3 chapters. It's really cool to see that the boy was in the background this whole time, and in essence, helps 6, our raincoat girl, stay alive and escape. But the boy has his own problems to deal with, especially with this creature lurking in the waters. While you're completing the level, there are 5 collectibles to grab. The trophy, not alone, is for collecting all 5 hidden Flotsam bottles. You know, I always confuse the definitions of Flotsam and Jetsam. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. Let's see. According to Oxford, it's the wreckage of a ship or its cargo found floating on or washed up by the sea. Okay, got it. And yes, it's also a Neopet. I know. I messed with that shit back in the day. Anyways, there are 5 Flotsam bottles to grab for the trophy. And in this chapter, it's not too hard to get them by yourself considering how the level is linear, but a guide is available if you're having trouble. Then, our last trophy is called Fun and Games Ahead, and it's found halfway through the level when you get to this room with this white metal sink in it. To get the trophy, we need to play a little bit of basketball. It's a very easy trophy, but you can't just throw anything in the sink to get the trophy to pop. You need to find this ball that's sitting in the shadows and sink that one by tossing it in the sink. That'll get you the trophy. That's it for this chapter, and our story continues with the next chapter called The Hideaway. I think of all 3 chapters, the depths is the easiest and most straightforward, but it gets a little weirder from here. Trophy-wise, this DLC follows the same pattern as the last one. We start with our level trophy, End in Sight, for completing the Hideaway chapter to the end. This DLC chapter is far less linear than the last one, as you reach a furnace area and then you'll have multiple branching paths that you have to go to complete the objective. As a result, it makes the Is Anybody Out There trophy a bit more difficult if you want to find all 5 Flotsam bottles on your own. There could be 1 or 2 inside of a path, and one of the paths is pretty dark, so you have to look very carefully. Of course, a guide remedies this, but some people like a challenge, and I thought it was worth mentioning. Then we get to the most difficult trophy in the DLC. It's called Ashes in the Maw, and it's going to require you to outsmart our familiar friend the janitor, Mr. Lanky Arms, once again. When you eventually pass through the janitor's workshop to collect more gnomes to do your bidding, you will notice a gnome statue made out of wood sitting on the desk beside the table saw. The main thing you need to do to collect this trophy is to grab that wooden statue and bring it all the way back to the furnace area and toss it in the furnace. Easier said than done, because even though the janitor is blind, his ears definitely work. You will need a distraction to keep the janitor occupied, and that table saw is perfect. But first you need to power it up by hitting the electrical switch in the room to the left, and then turn it on. It's best that you move the statue to the doorway you need to go in first before you turn on the table saw. You have a limited amount of time to run to that room with the doorway, rotate the crank to open the door, and then grab the statue and hop inside before the janitor figures out what's going on. If you can do this with statue in hand, it is smooth sailing for the rest of the trip to the furnace. You just have to continue with the level normally as you move the minecart where it needs to go. When you pull the chain that drops the gnomes down from the hatch, make sure the wooden gnome is there too. Then as soon as you toss the wooden statue into the furnace, the trophy will be yours. 2 trophy sets down and 1 more to go. Time to finish this trophy guide by covering the last trophy set left for 100% completion of Little Nightmares. There are 3 more trophies left inside the Residence DLC, and if you've completed the game, you'll dread having to come back to this place. Just like the last 2 chapters, complete the story so you can get the We'll Meet Again trophy. The Residence is even more complex than the Hideaway, with even more paths to take, and there are even more puzzles to solve that eventually open up more paths, so I definitely recommend completing the level up until you place down the 3rd statue so that you have all the paths open. Then it'll be easier to get the I'm Losing You trophy for the 5 Flotsam bottles. These bottles are placed all over the place in this insidious residence, and good luck finding them all by yourself without the guide below. Most of all, having all the paths open is going to make the Ashes to Ashes trophy much easier. One of the puzzles involves placing books inside a bookcase to match the patterns on the book spines. Well, after you've placed all the correct books in their places, there will be some books left, and one of them has half of a mask on it. you will need to pick up that book and head left down to the bottom floor and head to the room on the left. Keep going down the hallway past the spot where you grabbed a key, past the room with the 2 unsettling perpendicular hallways, and even past the room where there's a fireplace. This last room is pretty much where you start the chapter, and you'll see the other half of the mask on the book sitting on the shelf. Complete the mask by putting the book in its place, and this will open a secret room. Then all you have to do is knock over the vase on top of the table, and the trophy will be yours, ending this dark and gruesome adventure. Overall, Little Nightmares is the perfect game to play if you're in the mood for something unsettling and sinister. Trophy-wise, the only thing that's going to hold up some players daring enough to play this in the first place is the no death speedrun, which is quite challenging. But there's no platinum trophy up for grabs, so it's less consequential here, unless of course you like 100% trophy completion for everything you play. The DLC is just as grisly and great as the base game and well worth picking up. It's also much easier. I hope this guide gives you enough tips and tricks to stealth your way through this trophy run without getting grabbed by the ghoulies, especially on that no death speedrun, which is a challenge you should not underestimate just because it's an hour long. The no death stipulation definitely ramps up the stakes. But enjoy this game whether or not you plan to do the hard to the core trophy, and I hope you guys don't get spooked too bad. That's it for this Platinum Hunters New Game Plus episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're looking for a Little Nightmares 2 trophy guide, I plan to do one for the 2022 month of October. And if you're watching this in the future, check in the description below to see if that video has been released. I hope all your trophy hunting expeditions go incredibly well, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Peace out.